Here are 5 things every successful dropshipping store does that you need to make sure you're doing too. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Zach, and if you're new to the channel, learn all the secrets of the e-commerce world simply by subscribing to my channel and hitting that little bell icon so you don't miss anything. And today I am covering the 5 essential points that every successful dropshipping store makes sure that they have down pat that really allows them to succeed. And yeah, real quick, as you can see, I'm not in my normal recording space. I said this in my previous video, but I'm actually out of my college for spring break, so these next week's worth of videos are going to be pretty weird, so deal with the scene changes. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So number 1, every single store has a very clear idea for what they want their store to be like, what items they're gonna sell, who they're gonna sell it to. They just have a very solid plan. Okay, and this is something that is ridiculously important, and it's something that I'm going to preach all over the place. When you are making a store, you don't just want to jump into it. Of course, I'm all for taking action, not waiting around, dilly-dallying, finding any excuse not to do anything, right? I'm all opposed to that. However, you do want to take a little bit of time before you jump in to really get a good feel for how you're going to go about running the store, right? Companies don't just sprout out of nowhere like, oh, let's just sell some stuff. No, they have a very clear idea for what they're going to sell, the market that they're going to sell to, and exactly how they're going to sell it. Now, of course, their initial stance and all of their tactics that they have at the start are not going to be the same as the tactics that they're using even a year or 5 years or 10 years down the line, right? It changes over time. However, you do need to have a very solid plan before you jump into things to really streamline your whole process and make sure that your brand is just very solid and that it reaches the right people and sells the right products to those people. And every single successful dropshipping store does this fantastically. They may not have started out doing great, but they really put in the effort to figure out what they need to sell and who they're selling to and how these people respond to certain things, and then cater their material to that, and that really allowed them to succeed as they went on. Number 2, they have a killer website. I want you to show me, legitimately, because I haven't seen this, I want you to show me a successful dropshipping store that is bringing in consistent large amounts of profit that has a crappy store. Okay, I'm not talking they need to have a ridiculously high-tech, like Mac, Apple level technology on their website, right? No, but what I'm saying is they need to have a website that's very simple, effective, clean, on brand, and just easy to use in all aspects. All of these things coming together create such a strong and trustworthy brand image, and also allows customers to have a very good shopping experience, which is something you really need to make sure you have down pat. Every single store, make sure that website optimization is just a huge priority up there, right? If you have a crappy website, when you're an e-commerce store, that's your brick and mortar right there, right? You don't have like an actual in-person store. No, your actual store is your website, and if that looks bad, it's immediately going to drive away so many people. With online store conversions being only about 2 to 3%, you want to make sure that you're not lowering that, okay? You want to aim for about 2 to 3% conversions. But if you have a crap store, you're not going to get that. You're going to get way lower because people are going to see this store and either they're not going to be able to find what they're looking for, they're just not going to trust it, or it's just going to crap out on them, right? Now, using Shopify and using some even of the free themes, or if you get a paid theme on there, and this is why I love Shopify, because it's very easy to make something that's very clean and simple. Just using that, you can really succeed. You don't have to go all wild. However, just having a very cookie cutter website can also hurt you. You don't want to keep it too simple and too generic. You want to make it look pretty unique and eye-catching and on brand with what you're offering. And I highly recommend getting this down pat before you launch. However, I know for me, I've constantly been tweaking my websites. I'm always adding new stuff to them. Recently on my main website, I had a really big, I redesigned the entire thing pretty much, and it looks so much better, but that was after the store had been up for over a year, right? It's a constantly changing process, but it's ridiculously important to make sure that you have a good website. All right, number 3, and this kind of ties back into number 1, but what they do is they really put a lot of thought into what items they're going to be selling, okay? And I felt that this needed its own point because it's very important. Now, you'll hear a lot of people just being like, oh, just sell like the hottest, trendiest products, and you're gonna see videos all over YouTube that are like how to find the hottest started selling products in 2018, right? It's definitely something that you can put to use. However, it's not something that can work for everybody or even most people, okay? There are stores that really thrive off of selling hot selling items, right? These are more like the general trendy stores. However, if you want a very solid brand to form, which is what I highly recommend getting because it has a massive amount of longevity potential, to do this, you need to not just hop onto trends, okay? You definitely want to take into consideration what is trendy at the time, but you want to put your own twist on it for your own brand, right? And this is what these really successful dropshipping stores do really, really well. They know what they want to sell, and then they go through and they find items that are pretty timeless, but also on trend, like a good mix of the two, and put them on their store. So let me just think, for example. So let's say there's a survival store, right? There are definitely trendy survival items. Like there may be an indestructible flashlight that comes out one month and everybody's selling it. That's great, throw that on the store. However, a lot of people fail because that's where they put all their focus. They're like, oh, this is the new trend, let me hop on this. No, that's not what you need to do at all, okay? Definitely, it's a great potential for some extra income to sell this trendy item where there's already a bunch of audience interest. However, you need a bunch of other products on your store that are just on brand that you can either upsell or just sell in themselves, right? It's a lot easier to just have a good backlog of items and a good catalog just all laid out beautifully, branded in your own way, than constantly being like putting new items on your store and trying to sell to a trend. And all of these websites that are successful have put a lot of thought into what items they're putting on their website, or even if they haven't put a lot of thought into it, they put a lot of time putting a bunch of different products on their website, testing them and seeing what works and what doesn't. So of course, I mean, your products are how you're making your money, so you need to make sure that you have really good products on your website or else you're not going to be making money. Number 4, and this is something that I say in every single video, at least I try to, they actually put the effort into selling the items, okay? And I've said this in like my video 2 days ago. What I always like to say is, and when I say always, I mean I've said this once, there's a big difference between selling an item and presenting an item, okay? And what a lot of stores do, not the successful ones, is they present an item. They're like, oh, we have this flashlight, buy it, right? And they just have like a few pictures and a description of like the specifications, and then that's it. This is horrible. Every single successful dropshipping store that I've seen at least put some effort, or most of them a lot of effort, into actually selling the items. And when you're selling the items, what you're doing is you're creating want and desire in the customers, okay? You could just put a hot selling item on your website, but if you're not really inspiring people to buy it, there's only so much that a trend can do to inspire people to buy from you, right? You actually need to talk up the item, write ridiculously good copy in your descriptions talking about how the person can benefit from the item, and not just being like, oh, hey, it's titanium, yeah, buy it now, right? Not gonna work at all. You need to actually have the customer just like imagine owning the item and telling them how they're directly going to benefit from owning the item. And as I said, all of these successful stores, whether they're dropshipping or just like brands out there, they're really, really good at creating value in their products. And if you're not doing this, especially in dropshipping, because most dropshipping products, I'm gonna be honest with you, are not amazing. They're like just the item itself isn't gonna really sell. But if you can talk it up, you can sell anything. And this is just a huge point in sales in general. Like Wolf of Wall Street, that scene where he's like, here, sell me this pen, right? That is fantastic. That is how you create value in an item, and you need to make sure you're doing that or you're not gonna be successful. You actually need to put, okay, I see everybody like, oh, it takes so much time to write descriptions. Okay, well, you wanna make money online? Put some damn time into it and then it'll become passive. Oh my God, that bothers me. And number 5, they are relentless. And what I mean by this is they do not give up. They put hours upon hours upon hours into making their stores and their brand as a whole very, very solid and successful. Personally, this is what I had to do. So I worked for months, couple hours every single day working on my website, tweaking things, testing new products, testing new audiences, testing new marketing strategies, just day after day after day. And so many people get discouraged by this. They're like, oh, it's so much work and I'm not seeing any returns, right? Now, if you're putting all this work into just crap and you don't know what you're doing, yeah, you can end up not getting returns. However, if you actually know what you're doing and you're making progress every single day, you just have to put in the work, okay? And that's what these companies have done to get to this point. They have been relentless over years upon years of building up their brand, figuring out their exact audience, how to exactly market to their audience, and it's these things, all of them come together to really allow you to make a lot of money pretty easily after the few years of research, right? And this is what they've all done. And even then, when they have reached success, they do not become complacent. And this is a huge thing, okay? People start making sales and be like, okay, I found it, I'm done, I'm out of here, right? That is the exact wrong thing to do. You're always going to be testing new things because complacency is the #1 cause of failure. I mean, laziness also in dropshipping, but let's just say after you've succeeded, complacency is the #1 reason, because e-commerce and just sales in general, there's some few main concepts that are timeless, but a lot of things are changing, especially with dropshipping. There's so many trends coming and going. You need to stay on top of everything. And if you just expect to like set up a sales thing and let it run for a few years, you're gonna be severely disappointed. Things constantly die and are born all the time. So you need to stay on top of those things. And that's what these brands have done. They're consistently active every single day, putting in the work and really working for their money. Okay, e-commerce is a great way to make money online. Is it entirely passive? No. Is it more passive than just a traditional job? Not really, okay? If you're doing it right, not really. Like some cases you could get really lucky and yeah, it's entirely passive, or of course you could delegate some tasks, but a lot of the time, no, it's really going to take as much work, if not more work, than you just working a regular job, right? But it's the hustle and it's the dream, and down the line, yeah, it's definitely gonna pay off, but you need to be relentless, and that's what has allowed every single successful store to get to the point that they're at. So guys, if you want to learn how to create a successful dropshipping business, I have a link to my course down in the description below. I also have a link to a free 14-day Shopify trial if you want to get started. Hit that subscribe button down there if you enjoyed what I said and how I said it. Check out those videos over there for more cool content, and I'll see you guys around. Peace out.